Throughout my years as a shiny hunter, I have gotten my fair share of shiny mythicals.
Oh, Shiny Mew!
All of them are unique, but only some of them do I hold very close to my heart and have helped shape my Pokemon career. However, in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, there is a new regulation, Regulation J, which now allows for players to use mythical Pokemon in the competitive online ladder. So I'm going to take some of the shiny mythicals that I have managed to obtain and build teams around them to climb the ranks and get the Master Rank ribbon. This award can only be obtained on Pokemon who have won a battle in Master Rank, which has only happened for mythical Pokemon once before in Pokemon history, all the way back in Sword and Shield. First, let's go over the first mythical that I want to use for this challenge. My first shiny mythical, and the first full-odd shiny I got on this channel, Shiny Darkrai. This Darkrai I found during a full moon on Halloween night, and I found it live, which is still possibly the coolest shiny I've ever found. Darkrai seems like it would be easy to use, since its signature move, Dark Void, puts both the opponents to sleep, and pairs well with Darkrai's signature ability, Bad Dreams, which helps deal damage equaling an eighth of the maximum HP of any opposing Pokemon that are asleep. He also has some amazing stats, like a speed of 125 and a special attack of 135. Unfortunately for Darkrai, because Smeargle abused Dark Void during the 2016 competitive season, Dark Void was heavily nerfed, going from an 80% accuracy to a mere 50%, making it the worst accuracy for any sleep move in the game. Not only that, but it has been power crept hard. Because of this, there are some fast and powerful Pokemon who are dominating the ladder, such as Calyrex Shadow, Zacian, Zamazenta, Fluttermane, and more. These Pokemon will outspeed and kill Darkrai before he can even move. And Darkrai's special attack isn't bad. 135 is actually still quite good, but compared to the power and bulk of other Pokemon that we're going to be going up against, it is going to need a boost to really be doing it. Luckily for Darkrai, there are still some ways that we can help it out. First, we can increase the accuracy of Dark Void with the item Wide Lens, which increases the accuracy from 50% to 55%. Aside from Dark Void, he will also know Dark Pulse for a powerful stab move, Sludge Bomb for Fairy type coverage, and Protect. We can also give Darkrai the Poison Terra type, which will allow us to survive otherwise super effective hits from Fairy and Fighting types, as well as boost the damage for Sludge Bomb. Maxing out Darkrai's speed will allow him to take advantage of the high accuracy Dark Void, and a max special attack will mean Darkrai can actually pull its own weight and do massive damage. So now we have a plan for Darkrai, but it can't climb the ladder alone. We need teammates that can support it and help us survive in this terrifying meta. The best Pokemon to pair with Darkrai is our second restricted Pokemon, Calyrex Shadow. Calyrex has been a top tier threat ever since its introduction in Pokemon Sword and Shield, with Calyrex boasting an insane special attack of 165 and a speed of 150, allowing it to outspeed nearly every Pokemon in this regulation. It also has a broken signature move, Astral Barrage, a stab base 120 special move that hits both opponents, and a broken ability, As One, which gives it two abilities, a Nerve to prevent the opponent from using any berries, and Grim Neigh, which boosts its special attack by one stage for every KO it gets. We will be using this Pokemon to assist in KOing the opposing Pokemon using its strong special attack to fire off powerful moves like Astral Barrage and Psychic. But we're also going to use its speed to have a fast support role as well, with the move Gravity. Gravity makes any flying or levitating Pokemon fall to the ground, as well as boost the accuracy of moves by about 1.67 times. When Gravity is active, Darkrai's Dark Void move will have its accuracy boosted to 92%, which will allow Darkrai to consistently put both opposing Pokemon to sleep. While the Pokemon are sleeping, Calyrex can use its last move, Nasty Plot, to double its special attack to allow it to help Darkrai sweep through the opponents. Calyrex is fairly bulky, but since we want to max out its speed and special attack, we're going to give it a Focus Sash to guarantee it survives at least one attack. We're also going to give it Terra Grass, which ensures it survives a Surging Strikes from an Urshifu, as well as make it immune to Amoonguss' Spore and Rage Powder. Despite maxing out Darkrai's and Calyrex's speed, there are still some Pokemon that speed tie with us, and Deoxys still outspeeds us. Plus, when Miraidon sets up electric terrain, we can't put any Pokemon to sleep, which would shut down our main strategy. So the next Pokemon to join the team is Whimsicott. Whimsicott is a very good support Pokemon, with its Prankster ability giving any status moves a +1 in priority, which allows Whimsicott to move before even the fastest of Pokemon. It can help support our team with Tailwind, which doubles my team's speed for 5 turns, Helping Hand to boost my Pokemon's attack by 50%, Encore to force an opposing Pokemon to repeat the same move for 3 turns, turns, which can shut down some Pokemon using any non-damaging moves, which will essentially turn a 2v2 into a 2v1, and finally Grassy Terrain, to get rid of any electric terrain set up by Miraidon, which will allow Dark Void to work again. To ensure Whimsicott can do what it needs to do to support the team, we're going to give it Terra Ghost to prevent fake outs and have it holding a Mental Herb to prevent it from getting taunted or Encored itself. We're also going to max out its speed to hopefully outspeed any opposing Prankster Pokemon, and we're going to put 196 EVs into its HP to make it bulkier, and the remaining 60 EVs into defense. Farigiraf is one of my favorite Pokemon, and this one that we're using is actually the same one that I used in my Can You Really Win With Your Favorites video. That's right, the shiny Giraffe rig that I found in the Ruby Sapphire Safari Zone is joining us again to help pull this team together. It is keeping its Water Terra type to help us survive against strong water moves like Urshifu's Surging Strikes and Kyogre's Water Spout, and keeping a support move Helping Hand. However, we're changing it from a pure support Pokemon to a more offensive set, utilizing the held item Throat Spray. With Throat Spray, when I use the Stab Spread move Hyper Voice, it'll boost the special attack by 1 stage. This will allow Farigiraf to be a threat on the field with its stab moves Hyper Voice and Psychic, as well as fill a support role when needed with Helping Hand and its ability Armor Tail, which will help protect us from any priority moves like E-Speed Arceus, Fake Out, and Prankster Pokemon. Its last move will be Protect, which will help us with positioning and scouting out what moves my opponent will use. We're gonna have a bulkier spread, maxing out its massive base 120 HP, putting 104 EVs into its defense, and 132 EVs into its special defense, and the remaining 20 EVs will go into special attack. We'll also have a modest nature to boost its special attack slightly more. This, plus a special attack boost from the Throat Spray, should allow Farigiraf to dish out respectable damage. Incineroar is still one of the best support Pokemon with its ability Intimidate, which lowers the opponent's attack on switching, and Fake Out, which flinches a Pokemon in the first turn Incineroar swaps in on. It also gets Knockoff, a stab-based 65 power Dark-type move that doubles in power if the opposing Pokemon is holding an item, as well as removing said item. It also gets access to Parting Shot, which lowers the opposing Pokemon's attack and special attack by 1 stage before swapping out Incineroar to safely bring in a different Pokemon, while also resetting Incineroar's Intimidate and Fake Out pressure. The last move we're putting on Incineroar is Flare Blitz, a powerful stab-based 120 Fire-type move which can help do big damage on various threats. We're gonna run a Ghost Terra to become immune to otherwise super effective fighting-type moves and opposing Fake Outs, and with the item Safety Goggles, Incineroar can safely ignore Amoonguss's Spore and Rage Powder. We're going to invest fully into Incineroar's HP to make it as bulky as possible, as well as putting 44 EVs towards his defense and 132 EVs towards his special defense. The last 80 EVs are going towards his attack to help him dish out damage when needed. He is going to have an Impish nature to further boost his defense to help him survive big damage, which will give him more turns to be disruptive. The last team member for this team is going to be our ultimate support Pokemon, Clefairy. We're going to be using the shiny Clefairy that I found in my shiny marked Clefairy during a Supermoon video. Clefairy isn't typically the Pokemon you would think as like a bulky support Pokemon. With its held item Eviolite, which boosts Pokemon defenses by 50% if it's still evolved, makes it to where Clefairy is much bulkier than even its evolution, Clefable. It also has the Friend Guard ability, which reduces incoming damage into its allies by 25%. This will allow Calyrex and Darkrai to survive things they wouldn't be able to otherwise. Clefairy also has some excellent support moves, such as the third Helping Hand that I have in this team, as well as having the best redirection move, Follow Me. This will force opposing Pokemon to target Clefairy, which will allow Clefairy's partner to get a free protected turn to do whatever they want. It also has Life Dew, which heals Clefairy as well as heals its ally by 25% of their max HP, making them even bulkier. Clefairy's last move is After You, which allows its ally to move after Clefairy, but it fails if they move before Clefairy. But Clefairy is one of the slowest Pokemon in the game, so what can After You even do when its allies are some of the fastest in the game? Well, if Trick Room is ever up, which reverses the order that Pokemon move based on their speed stat, then the slow Clefairy can allow Calyrex or Darkrai to fire off powerful moves against Trick Room Pokemon like Calyrex Ice, Ursaluna, and others, using these 4 moves and a bulky stat spread of max HP and special defense to ensure survival against the powerful special attackers in this regulation, with the remaining 4 EVs going towards its defense. This on top of a sassy nature to minimize its speed and bulk up its special defense even more. Clefairy becomes an invaluable team member. Now that we have a good team for Darkrai, it's time to focus on the next 2 mythicals, Arceus and Mew. The Arceus I wanted to use for this is the shiny Arceus that I found in 94 soft resets. However, due to this beautiful shiny being found in Pokemon Platinum, it unfortunately got flagged as an illegal Pokemon online, so I was unable to use it. So instead I am using a shiny 2015 event Arceus that I happen to have in my Pokemon home. This Arceus will have the move Extreme Speed, a powerful base 80 stab move that has +3 priority, meaning Arceus will be able to outspeed nearly every Pokemon, ignoring the speed stat altogether. Not a lot of Pokemon will be able to withstand Arceus's base 120 attack plus a Terra normal E-Speed, and because of that Terra type, it will double the E-Speed's damage. But Ghost types are immune to normal type damage, and Steel and Rock types resist it. So the next move will be Stomping Tantrum, a base 75 ground type move that'll have double damage if the last move fails for whatever reason. Arceus's last two moves will be Swords Dance, a move that doubles Arceus's attack, and Protect, to help protect Arceus for better positioning or to scout out what the opponent will use. Because E-Speed is a priority move, we can ignore Arceus's speed stat and invest fully into attack and HP, with 4 EVs into defense. With Arceus's massive 120 HP, defense, and special defense, it can survive a lot of powerful hits, like most close combats, a +3 Archaludon body press, and even has a 62% chance to survive a +1 Zamazenta body press. Because it can survive so many powerful super effective hits, we're going to have Arceus hold the weakness policy, which doubles its offensive stats when it gets hit by a super effective move. Arceus can't do this alone, and Mew is the perfect Pokemon to help Arceus out. Mew has a base 100 in every one of its stats, and the ability to learn every TM, making Mew a very unpredictable and powerful supporter. The Mew I'm going to be using is the same one I found after 512 soft resets in Pokemon Red that I made into a Pokemon Ribbon Master, and through Regulation J, we're going to add the Master Rank Ribbon to its collection. This Mew is going to be mainly a supportive Pokemon with Helping Hand and Coaching, a move that increases its allies' defense and attack by 1 stage. Coaching can even go through Protect, so while Arceus is protecting itself from opposing damage, Mew can make it bulkier and stronger. Because Arceus's E-Speed is a priority move, that means it's blocked by Psychic Terrain that is prevalent in Deoxys teams. But with the move Misty Terrain, Mew can override the Psychic Terrain to allow Arceus to use Extreme Speed, as well as protect my team from any status conditions like Burn or Sleep, meaning this also shuts down Darkrai teams. Mew's last move is Flip Turn, a damaging pivoting move that helps this team get around any focus sashes and allows us to safely swap in a different Pokemon. Mew can be used as a super specially bulky Pokemon with max HP and special defense, and those last 4 EVs going into defense. With the Calm Nature increasing Mew's special defense even more, it'll allow Mew to survive some big special hits from Kyogre, Deoxys, and even Calyrex. With the item Mental Herb, we're also able to ensure that Mew doesn't get shut down with a taunt or an encore. With E-Speed Arceus being the main way we're dishing out damage, there are still some ways that our opponent can shut down this strategy, but Weezing is the perfect Pokemon to help with these threats. Weezing's signature ability, Neutralizing Gas, shuts down the abilities of other Pokemon currently in battle, meaning that we can shut down troublesome opposing abilities like Intimidate, Armor Tail, and even Psychic Surge. Neutralizing Gas also affects ally Pokemon as well, but because Arceus doesn't rely on its ability, it is the perfect partner for Weezing. We're going to be using Galarian Weezing specifically, and it can help support with Misty Terrain and help itself survive for longer with Protect. It can also learn Destiny Bond, where, once used, if it is knocked out the next turn, it will take down the attacker with it, meaning we can either take down some powerful threats or limit their options on that turn. Weezing's last move will be Strange Steam, a stab base 90 fairy type move that also has a 20% chance to confuse the target. We can prolong Weezing's time on the field by giving it a Citrus Berry and giving it Terra Flying to make it completely immune to powerful ground type attacks like Earthquake and Precipice Blades. We're also making him as bulky as possible by maxing out his HP and putting 116 EVs into his defense and 140 EVs into his special defense. With the Bold Nature increasing his defense even further, Weezing will not go down easily. Farigiraf is... well, it's the same one from the Darkrai team. It does the exact same thing, same checks and everything. It's awesome. Urshifu is going to be next, and it's the perfect partner for Arceus, providing necessary offensive pressure and a reliable way to deal with common checks. The single strike style, a dark fighting type, is my personal favorite of the two Urshifu forms, and it's what we're going to be using today, as it complements Arceus' normal offensive typing well, covering Ghost, Rock, and Steel types. Its ability, Unseen Fist, is phenomenal, allowing it to hit the opponent through Protect. This allows me to keep up the offensive pressure and to take out key threats while limiting the opponent on how they can deal with my team. Its signature move, Wicked Blow, is a powerful base 80 dark type physical move that always lands a critical hit, bypassing any defensive boosts and dealing massive damage. It also gets access to close combat, a powerful stab base 120 fighting type physical move that lowers Urshifu's defensive stats. Its last two moves will be Sucker Punch, a +1 priority dark type move that hits if the opponent is using an attack, and Detect. To ensure that Urshifu survives long enough to do massive damage, we'll be giving it a Focus Sash to ensure it survives at least one attack. We will also be giving it Terra Dark to boost the damage of its two dark type moves, Wicked Blow and Sucker Punch. We're going to fully invest into attack and speed, with the remaining 4 EVs going into its HP. With an adamant nature boosting its attack even further, Urshifu brings the raw power and type coverage this team needs to secure the Master Rank ribbon. The last Pokemon to pull this team together is Clefable. While Clefable is often overshadowed by its pre-evolution Clefairy in the support role due to the loss of Eviolite, it still has a pretty decent HP stat of 95 and respectable bulk, allowing it to survive for many turns even without the Eviolite. It also gets a new ability that Clefairy doesn't have, Unaware. This ability is a massive asset to the team, as it ignores any opponent's stat changes, like Swords Dance, Nasty Plot, Calyrex Shadow's Grim Neigh boost, and even Dondozo. This makes Clefable a phenomenal check to set up sweepers that rely on boosting their stats. Clefable is running a full support set, with moves like Follow Me and Helping Hand, as well as having Heal Pulse, which heals the target by 50% of its max HP, meaning we can keep Arceus healthy after taking big hits. It also gets access to Sing, a 55% accurate move that puts the target to sleep. While it isn't the most reliable, putting the opponent to sleep can be a huge move that changes the flow of the battle. To maximize its bulky supportive role, Clefable is holding the Leftover, which will heal Clefable by 1/16 of its max HP at the end of every turn. With Terra Steel, this will give Clefable an advantage against opposing Poison and Steel types, and we can boost Clefable's bulk by maxing out her HP and special defense, with the last 4 EVs going into defense. With these two incredible teams, we can now see how easily they'll climb their way to the Master Rank.
Whoa. Is this the shiny? Attack 32, 31, 31, 31. Oh my gosh! Is it actually? Oh! Shiny Arceus!